Today we are going to show you the best Nikon cameras you can buy right now. We have analyzed the market and listed these 5 best Nikon cameras for you. For more amazing tech product reviews and suggestions, please subscribe to our channel. We will try our best to present you the best tech products which you can buy now. Products links in the description box. In this video, we'll be covering Nikon cameras, including what they are, why you may want to choose them, and some of the best options out there. Number 5. Nikon Z30. The Nikon Z30 is a mirrorless camera with a 20.2 MP APS-C CMOS sensor designed for people who want to upgrade from shooting with their smartphone or compact camera. The camera is geared towards visual content creators who focus on vlogging rather than still photography. The camera has a range of features including 4K video at up to 30p, 1080 video at up to 120 frames per second for slow motion, and a fully articulating 3.0-inch 1.04mm touchscreen. It also has a tally lamp, a prominent rec button, and a single UHSI SD card slot. You can record for about 2 hours with USB power. The Z30 is Nikon's third APS-C mirrorless camera that uses the Z mount. It's aimed at young content creators, and the Z30 shows the most commitment to that cause with an emphasis on vlogging and video streaming. The Z30 differs from similar cameras in 3 key ways. Firstly, it can shoot 4K video at up to 30 frames per second without a crop, making it easier to achieve the wide-angle view ideal for vlogging. Secondly, the Z30 lacks a headphone port, meaning audio will need to be monitored using on-screen levels. The camera has a larger record button, fully articulating display, and a tally lamp on the front of the camera. These features make the camera more user-friendly for vlogging and selfie-style video. The Nikon Z30 uses the same 20.2 MP sensor found in the Nikon Z50 and Z FC. It's an updated version of the sensor used in Nikon's DSLRs and produces solid raw performance and good JPEGs. Number 4. Nikon ZF. The Nikon ZF is a mirrorless camera with a full frame that has classic styling and a 24 MP BSI CMOS sensor. It is designed to look like the company's FM2 SLR from the 1980s and is a counterpart to the ZFC APS-C camera. The camera features a 24 MP full-frame BSI CMOS sensor, in-body image stabilization rated up to 8 EV, a dedicated monochrome mode, and up to 14 frames per second continuous shooting, JPEG, along with 11 frames per second RAW. The camera also has a C30 JPEG only 30 frames per second mode with a pre-burst function, an AF system with tracking and recognition of 9 subject types, 4K/30 video from 6K capture, 4K/60 with crop, 10-bit N-Log recording, and 32-shot high-res mode to give 96 MP images. The camera has SD and microSD card slots. The camera's XP7 processor brings significant changes, including subject recognition to the camera's AF system, a Z9-like implementation of the company's 3D tracking along with the 9-type subject recognition system, and context-sensitive noise reduction that aggressively smooths areas that appear not to have detail. The noise reduction in the JPEGs and HEIF files convinced Nikon to let the camera's ISO range expand up to 204,800. The camera we used for testing was pre-production, but the 22 milliseconds rolling shutter we measured for 30p capture is consistent with the existing sensor in the Z6 models. The ZF's rear touchscreen is fully articulated and is a 2.1mm LCD that works well even in bright light. However, it could have been better if the camera had a two-way tilt arrangement of the Z8 screen, which could potentially have made the camera slimmer. Number 3. Nikon D850. The latest high-resolution full-frame DSLR from Nikon is called the Nikon D850. This camera features a 46 MP backside illuminated CMOS sensor and is one of the fastest shooting DSLRs from Nikon. This combination of features makes it appealing to high-end enthusiasts and a broad range of professional photographers. The camera boasts a 45.7 MP BSI CMOS sensor and can shoot continuously at 7 frames per second with AE/AF, 9 frames per second with battery grip and EN/EL18B battery. It has a 153-point AF system linked to a 180,000 pixel metering system. The camera can capture UHD 4K video at up to 30p from the full sensor width and 1080 video at up to 120p, recorded as roughly 1/4 or 1/5 speed slow-mo. It also has a 4:2:2 8-bit UHD uncompressed output while recording to a card, 1 XQD slot and 1 UHS-2 compliant SD slot, and a battery life rated at 1,840 shots. The camera has a 3.2-inch tilting touchscreen with a 2.36mm 1024 by 768 pixel LCD. It also comes with illuminated controls, a 19.4 MP DX crop, or 8.6 MP at 30 frames per second for up to 3 seconds, and advanced time-lapse options, including in-camera 4K video creation. The use of a backside illuminated BSI sensor improves the efficiency of the sensor, especially in low light performance, and improves the peripheral image quality. The D850 gains the full AF capabilities of the company's flagship sports camera, the D5. This includes all the hardware, AF module, metering sensor, and dedicated AF processor, as well as the full range of AF modes and configuration options, which should translate to comparable focus performance combined with high resolution. As for video, the D850 becomes the first Nikon DSLR to capture 4K video from the full width of its sensor. It can shoot at 30, 25, or 24p, at a bitrate of around 144 megabits per second. The camera can simultaneously output uncompressed 4:2:2 8-bit UHD to an external recorder while recording to the card. The camera subsamples to capture its video, lowering the level of detail capture and increasing the risk of moire, along with a theoretical reduction in low-light performance. Number 2. Nikon Z8. The Nikon Z8 is a high-end full-frame mirrorless camera that is built around the same sensor and processor as the range-topping Z9 sports camera. It is a mid-sized camera that offers most of the same features as the Z9, but in a smaller body. The camera features a 45.7 MP stacked CMOS sensor that allows for up to 20 frames per second shooting rate with RAW and 30 frames per second full-size JPEG. It also offers pre-burst capture in JPEG modes, which allows for up to 120 frames per second for 11 MP crops. The Z8 has subject recognition AF and 3D tracking, as well as Synchro VR combining in-body and in-lens stabilization, rated at up to 6 EV. The camera can capture 8K/60p video in NRAW, 4.1K in ProRes RAW, and 8K/30p, or up to 4K/60p from 8K. It offers the choice of ProRes 422HQ, H.265, or H.264, and can capture N-Log or HLG footage. The Z8 comes with a 3.68mm EVF with dedicated low-lag sensor feed and a 2.1mm screen on a two-way hinge. It has one CFexpress Type-B slot and one UHS 2SD slot, as well as dual USB-C ports. To match the Z9's 20 frames per second shooting rate with RAW and its 30 frames per second full frame/60 frames per second APS-C/120 frames per second 11 MP JPEG shooting modes, the Z8 offers the same features in a smaller body. The camera also provides the option to shoot 10-bit HEIF files if you want to capture HDR images using the HLG curve. If you are concerned about battery life, you can purchase an optional battery grip that provides capacity for 2 EL15s. The grip will displace the internal battery, meaning you get 2 batteries in total, not 3. The Z8 has an AF mode button on its lower left front, just where the traditional MF/AFS/AFC switch was on the company's DSLRs. Holding the button and nudging the front dial changes the AF drive mode, whereas spinning the rear dial changes AF area mode. Number 1. Nikon Z9. The Nikon Z9 is a professional-grade mirrorless camera with a 45.7 MP full-frame sensor that can shoot 8K video at 30 frames per second. The camera features a stacked CMOS sensor, which is a key hardware change in the latest generation of mirrorless cameras. Nikon is the third brand to build a pro-grade mirrorless camera around this technology and is determined to show it has no intention of being an also-ran as the market moves to mirrorless. The Z9 is the first camera in its class to abandon the mechanical shutter entirely, making it Nikon's most ambitious camera yet, particularly in terms of video. It has several impressive features, including 30 frames per second JPEG shooting, 20 frames per second RAW shooting, for over 1000 compressed RAWs, 120 frames per second JPEG shooting at 11 MP resolution, and 8K/30p capture and 4K/60p from 8K with a ProRes 422HQ option. It also has 8K/60p in 12-bit NRAW with a 4.1K ProRes RAW option, internal 10-bit N-Log and HLG capture, a 3.69mm OLED EVF with reduced lag and greater brightness, a 2.1mm rear LCD with multidirectional tilt, twin CFexpress Type-B card slots, and a full-time electronic shutter camera. The sensor shield protects the sensor. The camera uses subject recognition algorithms trained by machine learning, which is proving to be the defining software advance. The Z9 can shoot bursts of JPEGs at up to 30 frames per second, putting it level with the likes of Sony's A1 and the lower resolution Canon EOS R3. Or you can shoot 11MP images at 120 frames per second. Both these modes allow pre-buffering of up to 1 second of images prior to a full press of the shutter. The fast readout sensor was always likely to help the Z9's video performance, but Nikon has clearly put a lot of effort into making sure it offers modes that are usable, rather than just looking good on the spec sheet. For instance, it becomes the first Nikon camera to be able to capture log footage or RAW footage internally and the first to have a full-sized HDMI port. Thank you for watching this video. Do like and subscribe.